It's rare that I actually read something straight off of AOL, and this is not an exception. This one I found from my AOL feed, and this one is just as stupid as it sounds. Now, mind you, this is one of 4 stories that I am actually going to go through with. This is one of the stories I am actually going to go through with. And like I said, it's like one of these I'm going to go through all these stories that I have lined up here just in one video instead of me doing multiple videos. Saves much more time that way. Because that way I knock them out, you get to see them for yourself, and plus, well, feedback, very much important. Okay, start with this one. Mom fined over school lunch not having grains. Mom ponies up $10, all because her lunch didn't involve Ritz crackers. Let's read why. When Christine Bartkiewicz of Manitoba, Canada, sent her kids off to daycare with a home-cooked meal for lunch, the last thing she probably expected was to be slapped with a $10 fine. And a note said that her kids have been given Ritz crackers, to make up for her lunch's lack of nutritional value. But that's exactly what seems to have happened. She packed a meal of roast beef, potatoes, and carrots, followed up by some fruit for dessert. She even gave them milk instead of juice as a drink. Problem is, none of those items are considered a grain. That goes against school policy. Whatever kind of school policy do y'all have over in Canada? I swear to God. As the rules state, if kids are not buying a school lunch, parents must pack one that contains milk, meat, grains, and 2 fruits or veggies. If not, parents are fined $5 per item per child. Spotting that Barkowitz kids' lunches were a missing grain, school administrators supplemented the lunches by giving them a handful of Ritz crackers. Because really, if mom won't give them an over-processed grain for lunch, who will? Here's a note she was sent to inform her of the whole debacle. Today, your child's lunch was supplemented with Ritz crackers. Meals that are provided to children by either the center or parent are required to have 1 milk, 1 meat, 1 grain, and 2 fruits or vegetables. According to the license guidelines, the center is required to supplement lunches that contain anything less than this. Today, you were missing 1 grain. You had meat, potatoes, milk, carrots, orange. Your account will be charged $10. Date December 10th, 2012. Motion. Parents will be charged $5 per bill per child per item missing if the child's lunch is not a balanced meal, according to the Canadian Food Guide, effective April 17th, 2012. That was 1 year ago. Carried. Needless to say, Mom was unhappy as she quipped to the blog Weighty Matters. Might have been better if she just sent her kids with a microwave craft dinner, a hot dog, a package of fruit twists and cheese string, and a juice box. Maybe so, but she wasn't the only parent to get miffed about the whole policy. Weighty Matters has since updated its post on the story to say that the lunch fiasco went down. Other parents complained as well, leading to the school to change to a hot lunch program that Barkowitz says is great. All's well that ends well. Okay, here's what I honestly think. Okay, first off, I've seen this before. We actually have, when I was working at my old school, we actually had this. We actually had a lunchbox supplement note. But I feel And this is what I honestly feel. I feel that this is what's fucking up the school system right here. The little things like lunch. Lunch! Ladies and gentlemen, may I say this again? Lunch! I've seen it when I was working at my old school. I've seen kids actually have better meals than what the cafeteria people were making. Because sometimes they do make slop. I'm sorry, but this school is idiocy. It suffers from idiocy. It's like you're going to fine a parent for just missing one meal? Just one part of the meal. And let me also add to that what the hell will make it anything different if you just miss one part of the meal? Does it take away from the rest of the meal? I mean, seriously, I've never in all my life when I grew up going to school with meal tickets, and I used a brown bag. I had a thermos. Because yes, whenever my mom did make me something, it was a sandwich. And I had some juice in my Pac-Man thermos with my Pac-Man lunchbox. That's right, I had a Pac-Man lunchbox. Deal with it. I can say this. I am proud to have a Pac-Man lunchbox. I had a Legend of Zelda mini cup at home. So just to tell you, I'm just a bigger nerd as anybody else here. Because I was that cool. And I was that smart. So, fuck yeah. Anyway. No, really. No, really. It's like this. This is what's messing up schools right now. It's like, oh yeah, well, we're going to charge you if you do not have the proper supplements for your child. We're going to charge you for not having some Ritz crackers, something as a grain. It's like, oh, so I'm supposed to supply my kid with some Triscuits. Some Triscuit crackers or maybe some saltines, some Krispies. I don't know. But I'm supposed to have something with it. I'm sorry. I cannot deal with that. I'm sorry. That is just bullshit. And this will be shared in the video. Moving on. Let's move to item number 2 on this. And this was sent to me by Ryu. And let me just say that these were endangered foods. This is endangered foods. That's right, endangered foods. That you would have thought would always be around. So, this is 19 foods that would disappear without bees. Number 1. Apples. Surprise, surprise, the nation's largest producer of apples is Washington State. In a typical year, 10 to 12 billion apples are harvested every year by hand, or put in another way, about 3 out of 5 in the United States come from Washington. That's staggering, and without bees, the cross-pollination need to produce apples that just wouldn't happen to be on a scale large enough to produce today's crop. Number 2. Almonds. About 80% of the world's almond supply comes from California, which requires about half of the honeybee population in the United States for pollination each year, valued at more than $3 billion. This crop is California's top agricultural export. I've seen it. I've seen it going out to I used to go out to someplace far and out away. It's like totally totally distant. I forgot the place because I haven't been there in a while. But I do see these almond farms. I do see them being grown. So sometimes, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful to see, natural selection being done like this. Like, oh, we're growing almonds. We're good at growing almonds. This crop is California's top agricultural export. This year's crop is the largest ever at 1.9 billion pounds, most of which is destined for locales in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. I don't eat almonds myself. Sometimes I eat almond cookies, but I don't really eat almonds. That's just me. Number 3, blueberries. Besides being loaded with antioxidants, they are delicious on top of pancakes, in muffins, and of course, in pie. The loss of the blueberry crop wouldn't be felt at the kitchen. Wouldn't just be felt at the kitchen table. However, the National Agricultural Statistics Service values the nation's blueberry crop, most of which comes from Maine, at more than $593 million, 9% of which is pollinated by honeybees. I can tell you the only way I would enjoy blueberries is in a juice. That's the only way I can enjoy blueberries. I don't think I would like... and plus, I like apple pie. I don't really like blueberry pie. That personal preference. Next would be watermelon. Number 4, watermelon. The prospect of a summer without this refreshing, juicy fruit is certainly a strange one. Not only is 9% of the watermelon crop dependent on honeybees, according to the National Agricultural Statistics Service, but pollination by bees is essential to ensure a melon is evenly shaped and symmetrical. You're damn right. Because if you're like me, and summer comes around, watermelons and black people, oh dear Lord. Watermelons and black people, that's all I'm going to say. That's all you're going to hear. All you're going to hear is... That's all you're going to hear. Just going to hear... That's all you're going to hear. That's all. Me, I just be like... that's all you're going to talk about. That's all you will hear. I love watermelon, but I won't be like... that's just stupid. I'm more refined with my watermelon eating. Because I'm like that. Next, cherries. Number 5. Honeybees are responsible for pollinating about 90% of the cherries in the United States, according to the National Agricultural Statistics Service, most of which come from Washington State. Sweet cherry trees require the pollinating activities of honeybees in order to produce enough fruit for a commercially viable crop. Because remember, cherries. What would a Sunday be without cherries? What would anything be without cherries? Naked. That's what. Naked. Think about it. Next. Peaches. And no, we're not talking about that. No, we're not talking about that bitch from Super Mario Brothers. She's not worth it. I'm sorry. She isn't. I'm sorry. Daisy's worth it. Peach isn't. According to data, yeah, I know I'm going to get flack for it. I don't care. According to data from the National Agricultural Statistics Service, about 80% of the annual $600 million crop is pollinated by honeybees. Other insects, including other types of bees, contribute the remaining 20%. Peaches, I'm going to say, I'm kind of iffy about peaches, because honestly, some peaches are good, some peaches are, I mean, when they're decadently sweet, I will enjoy a good peach. Think about it. When they're really sweet, I will really enjoy it. I mean, I rarely eat peaches, and every time I look at a peach, it makes me think, about sex. Moving on. Rapeseed! Anybody ever heard of rapeseed? The rapeseed crop, better known for its common end product, canola oil, isn't exactly a tearjerker, but it is one of the almost completely dependent on honeybees for pollination, according to the National Agricultural Statistics Service. Again, I want to point out, honey, where's the rapeseed? The what? The rapeseed! The what? The rapeseed is next to the flaxseed! The canola oil! Oh, that, you're holding it in your hand, dear. Oh. I thought it would be, my bad. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Number 9, avocados. National Agricultural Statistics Service reports that 90% of the avocados grown in the United States rely on honeybees for pollination. How does the saying goes? No avos mean no guac. No guac means no party. Boo. But then again, I for one don't like guacamole anyway, so I wouldn't miss avocados. I really wouldn't miss avocados. I really wouldn't. Because guacamole tastes nasty to me. Moving on. Number 9, cucumbers. Cucumbers are a popular option for cooling down in the hot summer months. Their cool, fresh flavor and crunchy bite makes them a popular addition to salads, sandwiches, and cocktails. Without honeybees, though, the majority of the country's $193 million cucumber crop will be non-existent. For the record, I do not like cucumbers in my salads. I like salads to have more likely meat and cheese. Like the other night, when coming from the market, and they have this salad bar. And mind you, the one I went to was by LAX, so therefore I went to the routes by LAX. So anyway, what I did was every time I go to this place, what I always do is I always go to the salad bar first. And what I always do at the salad bar is I would make something like a Caesar pasta salad. This time it was a Caesar tuna pasta salad. And of course, it features romaine lettuce, some dry tuna. I mean, it's good by itself. Really, it is good by itself. Can't go wrong with it. Some pasta salad and some cheese. Of course, I have like these little block. I had this little block cheese, but still good, still tasty. Maybe it could have been better if I put a little Caesar dressing on it, but yeah. That's just me. Very delicious though. I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. It's one of the many salads I can make whenever I go somewhere. And they actually have a bar, Number 10, cranberries. Thanksgiving just wouldn't be the same without cranberry sauce. And we're pretty sure there will be a pretty big buzz by around dinner tables across America if one day just there just wasn't any more. Cranberries, according to the Natural Agricultural Statistics Service, are 90% reliant upon honeybee pollination. And besides, with Thanksgiving coming up next week, it would be a travesty if cranberries were just to drop off the face of the planet Earth. It just wouldn't be the same. Your Thanksgivings, your Christmases, your Christmas dinners, your Thanksgiving, it would never be the same without cranberries. Kid you not. Kid you not. Next. Number 11, onions. No onions? Well, you're pretty much screwed. Onions are the base for myriad classic salsas, soups, and stews when cooked, and when raw are pretty much de facto in tacos, salsas, sandwiches, burgers, and salads. You'll be shedding tears even when they're gone. And to this very day, because of my aunt, I learned how to eat certain vegetables. Onions was one of them that I could actually eat. But the only way I could eat it was ring form. And she made and my Aunt Lou, God rest her, she made onion rings. She actually made fried onion rings. So I've had onion rings before. And every time I go to Subway, I always ask for red onions because red onions are rather good and healthy in certain instances. So there you go. I kind of like onions, but I'm not like real big on onions. So I respect onions. Moving on, number 12. Blackberries. Juicy, sweet blackberries are definitely a bit an indulgence, but whether they're eaten on their own, worked in desserts, or swirled in yogurt parfait, they're always delicious. The loss of honeybees would also mean the loss of this cherished crop, which is almost entirely dependent for them on pollination. I've never eaten blackberries, and even if I did, I haven't eaten blackberries as is. I've always ate it like in maybe a yogurt. And there have been, and I rarely eat yogurt. I rarely eat yogurt. And when it's a really good yogurt that I can really taste the fruit, it shows. One moment. Just another day in my house. Just another day. It goes on. My mom accidentally let the cat in. I was called to put him out. What'd I do? Throw a little bit of jerky. He would go for it. Of course, my mom, with all that's been going on, moving on. Number 13, grapefruit. Sweet tart grapefruit, whether eaten with a spoon or cut in segments by the ambitious, it's a breakfast staple for the health conscious. It's also in salads and blended into smoothies and cocktails. Grapefruit is just one of the many kind of citrus almost entirely dependent on honeybees for pollination. And usually what I would do is I would usually have something like grapefruit, some kind of grapefruit juice. Because what people don't know is that grapefruit juice can also lower hypertension. Yeah, blood pressure. Lowers your blood pressure. And when you drink it. So, yeah. I feel people need to drink some grapefruit juice just because it tastes nasty. Don't drink it for that. Drink it for your heart. Drink it for your heart. Just like orange juice, drink it for your heart. Number 14. Oranges. Speaking of, probably goes without saying that if you're going to bring up grapefruit, you have to bring up oranges. And the data actually do back this up. Like grapefruit, oranges are 9% dependent on honeybees for production. that morning cup of OJ would get a lot more expensive. Maybe we'll just import out. Maybe we'll just import our way out of this one. Except colony collapse disorder is a worldwide problem. True, because really, oranges and grapefruits go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. It's like yin and yang. It has to have balance. So without any oranges, you wouldn't have grapefruits. You got the sweet and you got the sour. You can't have sour without sweet. Simple as that. Plus, I love me some orange juice. Number 15, raspberries. Oh, not that raspberry. Luscious raspberries are a special treat that are great in tart jams and all on their own. They'll sure be missed when they're gone. Farmers would have trouble growing most berries without honeybees, and the raspberry, is no exception. The crop is 90% dependent on honeybees for pollination. Of course, the raspberries do that. But what do you think I'm doing right now? I'm giving raspberries. Number 16, cantaloupe. Originally known as the muskmelon, the name of this fruit salad staple is changed for aesthetic reasons. Who wants to eat something called a muskmelon anyway? All kidding aside, however, the nearly $50 million annual crop is nothing to sneeze at, especially when it's so dependent on honeybee pollination. I wouldn't miss that much because I don't really eat cantaloupe. Or raspberries, for that matter. Next, we have pumpkins. Halloween just wouldn't be the same without pumpkins, nor would Thanksgiving. This iconic American crop is heavily dependent on honeybees for production. And without them, there would be no pumpkin carving, or no pumpkin pie, or no pumpkin cake. Because there's some people who might do pumpkin cake, pumpkin pie, or even pumpkin pie creamer. Because around this time, if you go to 7-Eleven, they will have spiced pumpkin pie, as a creamer, spiced pumpkin pie, or pumpkin pie. And usually when I go to 7-Eleven, I usually get myself either a drink or maybe a nice coffee. But since my folks usually want me to get some, they want me to get them 2 coffees. It's like this. Last night, I went by 7-Eleven before we went back home. I got 2 coffee. That's right, 2 coffee. 1 double gulp. And 2 hot dogs. A spicy bite and a big bite. And of course, man, he likes to have everything on the frickin' thing you can imagine. Like, jalapenos and whatnot. Yeah, sure, I'm gonna throw everything on it. So that's what I do. I usually just make a junk dog, while mine is just a Sonic the Hedgehog dog. Y'all know what that is. If you don't know, go watch Sonic the Hedgehog. The cartoon. You'll see what I mean. Or Sonic and the Blank Knight. You know what I mean. Moving on, number 18. Pears! My favorite. There's nothing quite like a refreshing pear crisp on an equally crisp autumn evening, or simply biting down into a perfectly ripe, juicy pear. So here's another reason to help save the honeybees. The nearly $382 million annual crop is heavily dependent on them for pollination. I usually like pears sometimes. When they're in season, I usually pick up some pears. Not that many, but just be something that I would not mind. And last but not least, plums. Ooh, Luscious blood red plums picked at the peak of the summer. Is there nothing better? Yeah, watermelon. Deep fruity flavor are offset by the slight tang, perfect for baking into pies and other desserts. Never had plums. I don't think I'll try them. But I just don't see it happening. Not for me anyway. So my thanks for Ryu for sending me this article, because really, why not? We're talking about 19 foods that would not exist without bees. So, moving on to article number 3. And this one was presented to me by Sheena. Iowa parents defend bullying of autistic teen. Oh, Lord. And I do mean, oh, Lord. A 13-year-old autistic boy has been punched, teased, and had his condition mocked in online videos by his peers. But the parents of the accused children say that they were justified in bullying the Iowa teen. Yeah, in your own mind, yeah. You got your own goddamn nerve to say, oh yeah, it's just fun. Moving on. I'll say what I had to say after I show the rest of this article. On Monday, WhoTV.com ran a story about how the classmates of Levi Knoll had posted a video online showing Knoll suffering from symptoms of Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism. In the video, classmates taunt Knoll, and teachers in the classroom appear to turn a blind eye to the behavior. Again, this is another problem that happens in schools. However, the station that says, after airing the story, it received more than 100 emails from parents, shockingly with many of them defending the bullying at Melker Dallas High School, saying the child brings it on himself. I would say 3/4 of the stuff he brings on himself, and probably 1/4 of it is bullying that shouldn't be going on, said Levi Weatherly, father of the teen accused of posting the video online. School principal wrote Knoll's mother an email saying that the behavior documented in the video does not amount to bullying. Nonetheless, 2 of the students were disciplined and the video was reportedly deleted. In a video interviewing with the station, Principal Josh Inn actually said it was the students' responsibility to handle cases of bullying. We try our best to educate our staff, to educate our students, to react to the cases, to investigate the cases we have, Ian said. But ultimately, it's got to come down to the kids to take ownership for this and stand up for the kids who can't stand up for themselves. Principal's decision was defended by school board president Bob Lepley, who told the station, I stand by our principal. According to his investigation, I'll have to stand by him. So why would the principal, the school board president, and a number of parents defend the alleged bullying? He called my nephew a nasty name. He called my nephew a nasty name, and my nephew called cocksick him in the mouth. Resident Jamie Harrison wrote to the station, I am proud of my nephew for doing that. This kid had done things to get people mad that I think he could probably control, added resident Nate Goof. Yeah, your name, sir, your name. Levi's mother, Dawn Simmons, says that she herself had been targeted by some of the parents since complaining to the school about the video. It's been a very frustrating day for all of us, she said. However, Sims told the station that 2 of the students have apologized to Levi, saying that they didn't realize how their actions had affected him. Okay. Now, first off, as a survivor of bullying, let me be the first to say, you motherfucking sons of bitches. You got no goddamn right teasing somebody who has something that they can't even understand themselves. Autism. I mean, it's like this. I should really word this better. Of all things that can and will happen, it's like this. You got autism. You have cerebral palsy. And you got worse conditions than just those two. There's no reason why parents should defend this type of bullying, because A, he did not ask to have autism. It just happened. Because sometimes it might happen to somebody who just didn't deserve it. Because nobody doesn't deserve to have some kind of disability on them. A physical disability, a mental disability, or something that is even worse than that. And trust me, there are people out there that are in a worse situation than being autistic or having CP. And usually I want to say this. These people in Iowa, I'm sorry, but you got no goddamn right just to do that. If you're trying to make an example, I'm sorry, but you people got the worst goddamn example of trying to teach your kids. Oh yeah, you see, we've defended autism. We defend this bullying of a 13-year-old. So why? Why? No, really, why? I mean, it's autism. No matter what kind of syndrome it is, it's still autism. And trust me, if I was at this school and I was a teacher there, I would so flip off a table real fast on these people. I would so flip off a table. I kid you not. I will flip off a table so fast on these idiots. Just because, so it's right for you to pick on somebody who has a mental disability. Well, how would you like it if your kid had a physical disability and they were being treated less than a human? Okay? You don't treat somebody like that. That's against nature. You do not treat anybody less than what they should be treated. They should be treated as an equal. They should be treated as a person. Okay? There should be. I mean, I've been through bullying. It's not a pretty thing. It's not a pretty thing, because you either got two choices. You can let it happen or you can stop it. I'm one of those people who actually stopped getting bullying by standing up and knocking the piss out of those who bullied me. Okay? So, I just want to say, if I was there, if I was there, and this kid had a problem, and I was his, and I was either his teacher, I will throw up a table. I kid you not. I will throw up a table. I would get so tough, guy. I would basically turn Dark Izzy. I'm sorry. I would so legitimately turn Dark Izzy on that, and I would just say, okay. Oh, so you think it's fine for you to tease somebody like this? Well, let me tell you something. What if this kid right here, he had a broken arm? He couldn't move it no more. And it's not because of me. No. It's because of some kind of disease he might have. Or some kind of symptom. You wouldn't like that, and yet you want to pick on a kid who has autism. You are some sick fucks. No, really. These people should not, and I mean should not. Even though I basically told Sheena this, I'm gonna say this. I said no. I said no. Cause see, with me, I don't wish ill on nobody, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened. Cause I'm a believer in karma. You do good, you get good back. You do bad, you get back. You do good, you get good back. But if you do bad, oh, you're gonna have the worst kind of karma ever known. You get 10 times much bad back. Because A, teasing is already wrong. It's a sign of bullying. I've been through it. Shannon's been through it. I'm pretty sure a whole lot of you out there have been through bullying in some fashion or form. And it doesn't feel good. Especially if you have a disability. And like I said, I'm one of those people that feel passionate about, kids like these. So that's why kids like these, they should be protected. If the system isn't going to follow through and protect all students, just one student who has one disability, or 2, or 3, or maybe 4, transfer. Do something. Help them. My God. I mean, it's like, it's like this. You care about your kids, then you should, teach them. Don't be afraid of, don't be afraid of disability, because, disability, it's not a bad thing. I mean, there are plenty of people out there, and there are some on YouTube that actually have disabilities. They have disabilities, but they make it through. They can do their videos without even a lick of worry. And some of the people that I watch on YouTube have certain disabilities, but it doesn't stop them from what they're doing. I would say this kid right here, he has the heart of a champion, because, regardless of him being bullied, he still got enough courage to still go to school. And regardless of him being teased and tormented, just out of all that, 2 people apologized to him. So, a little bit goes a long way. I just want to share that. I really want to share that. Because there's like I said, there's no excuse for this. Just like with the first article, there is no, and I do say this, there is no excuse to do this in school. This is the kind of bullshit that needs to stop. It's like, along with the school lunches, ease up on the fucking school lunches. I'm sorry. Just ease up on the fucking school lunches. The parents try. But I think, like I said, I've been a teacher before. I'm still a teacher. In some shape or form. And like I said, I wouldn't even go with this. I would stand against this. I would stand against bullying and school lunches. It's like, y'all gonna make a big deal about school lunches, but you wouldn't make a big deal about books and whatnot. Y'all shouldn't even be in this job. Fucking idiots. Moving on to our last and probably an enjoyable 4th article. What John Lennon, Bob Marley, and Kurt Cobain would look like today if they had lived longer. Courtesy of Sasha's Media Group comes these eerie and fascinating artist renderings of what legendary rock stars like John Lennon, Bob Marley, and Kurt Cobain, among others, would look like if they were alive today. The site, in conjunction with Fojo, posted not just the pictures, but speculation about what each artist would hold in the culture. For instance, former Nirvana lead singer Cobain would have explored smaller, less commercial projects. Marley would have been a dream partner for stars like the Fugees and Kanye West. Yeah, don't let Big hear that. He would have a shit fit about Kanye West. And Lennon almost certainly would have stayed with Yoko Ono. So here's what we see here. To be quite honest, John Lennon would actually look like this. He would actually, to me, he would actually look like this if he was still alive. God rest you, man. God rest you. Because Lennon, of course, got shot by a douchebag who just didn't like their song or whatever. Just stupid. Kurt Cobain, yeah, he still would have had the same look. To me, Kurt Cobain would have gone into smaller places. He would have ended up being like, I don't know, something. So he would have been like he would have ended up like John Denver, I think. After Nirvana, I would think he would somehow end up like John Denver, doing country. I don't know why, but I would think. But I would think he would want to end up like John Denver or Johnny Cash or something. He would end up going country. But Marley, yeah, man. You still have shit looks, but still, you be a bad motherfucker, man. At least you would teach. At least you would have. At least rhythm and blues will actually have a flavor now. I swear, it's like Bob Marley. Bob Marley. And then there's the king, Elvis Presley. Oh. If Elvis was still alive, he would get so much love for people who have been around him since the 50s. Probably the 50s or 60s. Elvis is like an icon. Elvis is the icon of music. I mean, in comparison to, say, Michael Jackson. Because I'm sorry to say this, Michael, you done fucked up, okay? Because you got fans galore that still can't get over you, and that's a damn shame. But Elvis, oh God, if Elvis was still around, man, if Elvis was still around, oh damn, and he still had the voice, I can only imagine women around 50 or 60 years old will be swooning. Even younger than that. 40 and 30 years old, 40 and 30-year-old women would be swooning because he's the king. I'm not kidding. He would have so much respect for anybody who is a musician, because every musician pretty much have to pay homage to the king. They have to pay homage to Elvis. Any singer, any musician of today's era would have to pay homage. Because, like I said, there have been so many people that should not have died because of unnatural causes. And then there are those who, then there are those who basically get that undeserved recognition. I'm talking about, yeah, I'm going back to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, as famous as he was, I'm sorry, you should have just stayed quiet. Michael Jackson should have just stayed quiet and just, just deal with your family. Tupac, you kind of deserve that because you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Notorious B.I.G., I'm sorry, but you too are an idiot. You're dealing with gangs, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get shot for it. Because your homies, and I quote this with respect, your homies can't cover your ass. I said, you don't have people that are actually reliable that will, tell you, hey, hurry up this way, get your ass out of here, and whatnot. That's the thing about music nowadays. It's like you have people doing this sort of shit, shooting up pills and whatnot in their system, and they're already distorting their gift because you can either sing or you can dance, or you know how to make a little ditty off of a guitar or whatever. And I got the phone ringing. One moment. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the phone. And mind you, this is the third video I'm doing so far because of this. As I was saying before, I feel music has been corrupted these days because there's no heart, there's no soul. There's no heart or soul going on in music. Like this next person, Bobby Darin. I think that's it. But no, there's more. Bobby Darin. I mean, I can't really say anything about much about Bobby Darin, but it was more like, I don't know. You got classes. I mean, this is class right here. Bobby Darin, that's class. As a musician, that's class. Cass Elliot, of course, she was of the Mamas and the Papas. Dennis Wilson. Janis Joplin. Yeah, I can definitely see her growing old and graceful. Jim Morrison. Karen Carpenter. Keith Moon. Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, that's it. And Jimi Hendrix. Oh, if Jimi Hendrix was alive. If all of them were alive. I could tell you. This new generation would have to bow down. This new generation of performers would have to bow down to the original generation because they, in their own right, have basically left a mark in the music industry, or on the music industry. They have left a mark on the music industry, and therefore they deserve all the respect in the world. They deserve all the respect in the world. And why am I saying all this? Because, well, my father William, he was a jazz drummer for Fats Domino. If I didn't have cerebral palsy, I think I would have done well as a drummer too, because that's what he left behind. It's not like I haven't, but I mean, I could drum, but I could drum much better if I didn't have cerebral palsy. I practice, but but the thing is, if only I didn't have this in my left hand, well, I would have ended up as a drummer. I'm not regretting the decision that I made, though. But again, this one was also shared to me by Sheena, because she would want to know my take about musicians. And as a musician slash singer, because yes, I do, I sing more than I do with music. I mean, instead of using an instrument. If I were to use an instrument, it would be the drums. Or in this case, it would either be the drums and the taiko. The taiko is the Japanese drum that you hear in festivals sometimes. But I will be such a whiz at drums. But that is a story for another time. Anyway, if you have enjoyed stories like these and other things, once again, I will have these articles in the description box below, so therefore you can check it out for yourself. And please, of all things, share. Share what you got. Share your thoughts and everything about whatever floats your fancy. And of course, I really want to hear what you guys think about either one of these four articles I've just shared. Once again, my thanks to Ryu and Sheena for sharing these articles with me to share with the rest of you. So until the next time, whatever the hell I plan to do, be it game or articles, this is the Tenkaichi Gaming. Ichigo Musko. Thanks for listening, and of course, thanks for watching. See you soon with even more videos.